Hi, good evening. Sorry, I'm trying to set up. I'm taking it gradually. Yeah, good evening, good evening. How's our day been? Good evening. Good evening. Trust we had a great day. So, sorry. Trust we had a great day. Trust our day was not so stressful. So, yesterday I started a conversation. I tagged the struggling farmer. I tagged the struggling farmer. And the purpose of that conversation was to ignite something in us, was to ignite something in us. First, to help us to see that um, it was to ignite something in us. And yesterday in our conversation, I tried to lay a foundation by using a scripture I know we know so well. For those who missed yesterday, I said, there is this popular scripture that says that I wish that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. That thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. And I talked about the fact that it says that I wish that thou mayest prosper. So your prosperity there was not something spiritual, but talking about you should prosper in your material things. You should not lack financially. You should not lack materially. So it was saying, materially, you should prosper. Health wise, you should prosper. But these were predicated on the prosperity of your soul. And yesterday, I laid the foundation that when we say soul, soul does not refer to something spiritual because it is very easy to try to spiritualize everything. Sorry, I'm trying to position because he's watching cartoon. It is very easy to try to spiritualize everything. But the reality was, when we look at what the soul represents the seat of the mind, because the soul is where our consciousness is controlled. So it represents the seat of the mind. And I said, if the soul represents the seat of the mind, it simply means it was talking about the fact that you should prosper, be in good health, even as your mind prospers. We said that yesterday. And the prosperity of the mind is predicated on what knowledge do I have, what understanding do I have of the knowledge, what knowledge do I have, and what is my understanding of that knowledge that I have. Because if I do not have the right knowledge, it simply means that I will be running on falsehood and expecting to get the right result. Is the equivalent of trying to navigate to a location, to a place, but what you do not know is that you are running on the wrong direction. I would give an example for this to make sense. I remember a while back, I think last month, what's the name of this hotel? I can't remember, Marriott or a particular hotel in Lagos. Somebody said, let us meet at this hotel for a meeting. Now, what I did not know was this hotel had 2 branches on the island. So I punched in the hotel on Google and took off. Now, the map was leading me right, but the information I had was wrong. So, I want to talk a bit around differentiating information from perception. Because you see, if you do not, information from assumption. Because you see, many a time, a lot of people assume they are informed, but the problem is they are working based on assumption. They are working based on assumption. And there is nothing as fatal as running on an assumption that is not true. Now, you see, the problem with the human mind is when you have an assumption, it has the capacity to make that assumption become your truth. Because you see, the human mind does not like void. The human mind does not like void. Let me give you an example. I don't know if there is anybody that has ever watched a movie that ended on a cliffhanger, like maybe there will be a part 2, a season 2 or something. You will notice that if that's, your mind will not just rest at where they stopped. What then happens is your mind starts giving you story to a logical conclusion, because this is how our mind is programmed to work. This is how our mind is programmed to work. This is how the mind works. It's not about programming. This is how the mind works. The mind does not like voids. So when you watch a movie and the movie ended on a cliffhanger, your mind automatically starts running chains and chains to create a final story. To create a final, check if Sandra is in the office. Let me call her, let me drop it. To see how to create a final story. Now, you see, if you understand that, you then start seeing, call her. You then start seeing the danger. You start seeing the danger of running on assumptions. Because the problem with running on assumption is you do not know, you do not even get to know easily that you are running on assumption. Let me give you an example of what, let me look for another way for this to make sense. Imagine you are driving on the road and the car in front of you is driving anyhow. The car is driving anyhow, making you to almost maybe have an accident or something. Imagine how angry you would be. Imagine how angry you would be waiting to curse out the driver. Just imagine. Now, imagine by the time you finally get to where that driver is, you now realize that, oh, the person driving this car is maybe your elder brother, who you did not know that was his car, or your dad, who you did not know that was his car, but he was just driving to make fun, but you did not know he was the one. Now, when you see him, does the anger remain or the anger disappears? If we are sincere, you would see that once you see the person, the anger disappears, right? Now, imagine a second scenario that when you see the person, you notice that, oh, this person is super elderly, and as you see the person is like, my son, sorry, or my driver not come today, or that's why I did that road myself, oh, sorry, oh, sorry. You notice that your anger disappears, and you even have a sort of pity, right? Or maybe you check and you realize that the person driving the car is not a person but a driverless car. That by the time you checked and you went down to look at the person in the other car, it is a driverless car that maybe the whatever was malfunctioning. You will notice automatically your anger will disappear. So you then realize the anger that you had then was an anger based on assumption. Based on assumption, your information was an assumption, not a real information. You just assumed that, okay, don't worry. You just assumed that the driver should know better. You did not assume the person might not be a driver, or it might not be a person that should be driving, or it might be an elderly person, or it might be your own person that is just trying to make mockery of you on the road. Are we together? So, you must know, is this an assumption or an information? And this is where the beauty of the wise comes in. A wise man knows what he knows that is true. And a wise man knows what he believes that is assumed. Because, you see, as a farmer, you need to know, what do I know to be true? It's not just an information that you have heard. What info do you have that is true? Because, you see, once you accept an assumption as a truth, your brain stamps it and stops questioning it. Your brain will not question it. Instead, your brain starts creating pathway on how to build on it. So, what truth do you know, or what info have you heard that you are not sure that it is true? Are we together? You are trying to run your farming business. What do you really know for certain that is true? What are those things that you are not sure of, but you have allowed yourself to run on it like it is the truth? You do not run businesses on assumption. We do not run businesses on assumptions. No, we don't do that. In our running of businesses, we are not running them on assumptions. No. We run businesses on information that are verifiable and replicable. We don't run businesses on assumptions. So, what do you know that is the truth? When you go to the law court, how do you know an information is the truth? It is because you have facts and evidence. When there are no facts and evidence, the law calls it speculation. That no, you are just speculating. And you will notice that when a judge wants to give a judgment or a counsel, they do not give it based on speculation, they give it based on evidence. As a farmer, the information that you have right now, is it truth or assumption? Do you know the whole truth? Half truth is worse than no truth. Do you know the whole truth? Do you have the whole facts? E.g., yesterday I was teaching and I said, do you know the fact that export is an option? I said yesterday, do you know that, there are 3,000 products that can get into the UK? That means you have another way to make money. But you see, that information is not enough. Did you go back and now start checking on your own? Okay, how do I, because it is wanting to say, so I can get into the UK. Then you just go online, I want to get into the UK, I want to get into the UK, I want to get into the UK. Then you now get a customer. And the customer says, okay, I want this product. Maybe one of them makes an order of $1,000, another of $2,000. Maybe lucky you, The person that made an order of $1,000 deposited, paid ahead because they chose to trust you. But you have not gone to find out, because you see, your brain has filled in too many gaps that you did not go and ask and say, okay, how will this product get to the UK? Is there insurance? Is it by air? Is it by sea? Or should we start thinking of road? You didn't think of any of that. How will I package? So you did not get the complete information. You ran with just half info. How do I package? What kind of packaging is accepted where I'm sending this thing to? Is it a kind of packaging that must be recycled, or is any packaging fine? Okay, if it is going by air, do they have the kind of buses I must use that might, or by sea, is there a way I must pack it for it to fit into the pallet? Because if not, you are running with half information to get customer. At the end of the day, you will mess up the order, enter debt, and be worse than you were before you got that half information. Are we together? So, what half information do you have, that is not true, or that is partially true, but is not complete, and you are trying to build on it? Whether it is formal or informal export, do you have the complete info? Do you have the complete info? Because what I have noticed is a lot of farmers are running on assumptions, not real information. They are running on assumptions, not real information. What real info do you have? How did you verify that info? Who is even the source of the information? Who is the source of the information? Because if the source of your information at times is as good as the source, who is the source of your information? These are things you need to ask. Because what I have noticed is the reason a lot of farmers are struggling, beyond the fact that some of them are not knowledgeable, is they run on half-truths. They run on partial truths. They do not have the complete story. They do not have the complete information, but they are running with it. And because they do not have the complete information, by the time they find out what they do not know, they have already messed up what they had. They have already messed up the leverages they have. They have messed up their relationship. They have collected money and messed things up. See, one of the reasons why sincere people became, why a lot of sincere people were now called scammers, was because they did not have the complete information before they started collecting money. A lot of, because I roll around with farmers. I roll around with a lot of farmers. And what I realized with some of my farming colleagues who raised money, who did crowdfunding for their venture, some of them ran into issues not because they wanted to run a Ponzi scheme, not because they wanted to be insincere, not because they wanted to be liars, but simply because the information they had was not complete. But their brain filled it up. Their brain covered the gap, because that is what your brain does. Your brain will naturally not create a void, so it will find ways to fill the story, which was what their brains did for them. Somebody posted on Facebook, yes, let me also say that. That information that you are hearing, is it practical? You need to know. Is it workable? There are information I have heard for a long while about opportunities, but I know I cannot make use of the opportunity. Because I understand in all sincerity, I do not have what it takes to engage such opportunities. I do not have what it takes to use such opportunities. Which is where you will hear me say, oh, not every opportunity is your opportunity. Not every opportunity is your opportunity. Because it is possible that I have an opportunity, but it is not what I can take advantage of. It is not what I can take advantage of. Or it is not even something I know how to do properly. So I let it go. How are you? Clap for yourself. Are we together? So, as a farmer, ask yourself, sit down honestly, look at your business. What information am I running this business on? What is the real information? What is the assumption? What is the information? What is the assumption? Sit down and ask yourself. What is the info? What is the assumption? What am I running on? You need to know. You need to tell yourself the truth. See, because your business struggle comes from assumptions, not information. Your business struggle comes from the assumptions. So sit down and ask yourself, where am I making assumptions? It is assumption that brings about exaggerations. When I get to talk to people and somebody's like, oh, I am just starting a business, I just need 1 million. I'm like, okay. And the person is telling you, if I get the 1 million in 1 year, I would have taken the 1 million to 10 million in 2 years, 3 years, 100 million. I also. What assumptions have you brought into your business that you have treated as real information? Because the struggle of your business is tied to the assumptions. You are trying to start a crop farm. You are like, okay, rainy season, usually we start, okay, around February, March, peak around April, it will not be raining very well. Okay, I want to grow maize. So the question is, it is an assumption that, see, let me tell you the problem with assumption. When you start having assumption fills up with what is familiar. Your mind will fill up the assumption with what is familiar. So, assumption thrives because it gives you the comfort of familiarity. It gives you the comfort of familiarity. It gives you that comfort. And that comfort of familiarity is what puts people into trouble. Because the assumption will not tell you, shebi rain they always start for April. Shebi around June, July, the thing will be the highest. But the issue is, there is a science, there is an organization like NIMET in Nigeria that has mapped out region upon region to tell you when to expect rain in that place. That is real information that you can pay for and get the exact reality of where your farm is. That is real information. Assumption is familiarity that tells you rain supposed to fall by this time. So you planted with the mind that rain will fall normally by this time, but the rain don't fall. You are not saying, now village people. No, it is not village people. You planned your planting season on assumption because it was familiar. Assumption. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. This is tied to your assumption, not your information. But the issue is, assumption sounds like information. Somebody said, I made the mistake of assuming that once I start my poultry farm, egg buyers will be lining up to buy. I learned the hard way. Thank you so much. You just assumed. Because you will always hear, now see, let me explain that so it will make sense. You will always hear people saying that there are people looking for eggs not they. So your mind talked with that familiar thing and told you, because people are looking for egg, once you begin produce egg, people when won't buy egg go line up. The struggle of your business is tied to the assumptions that you have. It's tied to the assumptions that you have. What are you assuming in your business? You see, because yesterday I said get knowledge. But if you are not able to know if you cannot identify what you don't know, assumption will tell you you know it. Assumption will tell you it doesn't matter. Assumption will tell you, look at history, this is how it has been before. Assumption will take you to where it is familiar and make you overlook it. And when you start suffering, the problem is because assumption has told you the information was true, it might even be hard for you to identify what is wrong. Because your mind has seen that assumption as a truth, you may not be able to even pinpoint that the problem I am facing is from this assumption that is not true. So you will be looking at every other place except what you assumed. You will be looking at every other thing except what you assumed. How many times have you done budgeting based on assumption? How did it pan out? How many times did you take that trip based on assumption? How did it come out? How many times did you take that contract and go and borrow money to start based on assumption? If I take this job now, once I do this one, this person go pay me by next week. By the other week, I go pay back. How many times did you take trading jobs based on assumption? You were in a place and the person was like, I need yam, I need pepper, I need this. You're like, cry no more, I got you covered. And you call the person you have in the village to help you send the goods. And you were thinking it will go based on assumption just like that. I've said it, how do you deal practically with this form of assumption? Ask yourself, is there an evidence to this? Or am I just hopeful? If there is no evidence to it, do not build on it. Do not build on it. I'll give you an example. Like I think I already gave you an example. I have explained there is an export mechanism available right now for the UK to move 3,000 products to the UK. That is true, right? But you see, that information is not complete. That information is not complete. Okay, I told you start advertising online, talk about what you do online, you will get customers online. That information is true. But did I tell you how you will get your flight? How you will get your insurance? How you will do your packaging? How to meet their, how to meet the criteria abroad to ensure that it passes their criteria? There are many other information I have not given. And if you do not take time to get all the complete info to know how to work it, the info is not wrong, but you work on half information. And half information is worse than no information. So what do you say? What if it is the investor that is assuming and don't want to take the real information from the farmer? Then farmer don't collect the money. Because when things go down, it is you they will hold. When things go down, it is you they will hold. So if the information is not complete, if the person does not want to hear the real info, do not accept. There is no gun to your head that is saying you must collect our money. There is no gun to your head. If the person will not accept, don't collect the money. It's that simple. Because assumption is a killer. Take time, when we are done with this life, take time and look at your business. Start checking your processes. Where is the information? Where is the assumption? What part of your business is built on assumption? You need to start thinking of how to change it quickly. What part of my business is built on assumption? You need to start thinking of how to change it quickly, because it is the assumption that will destroy the business. It is the assumption that is making you struggle. The reason you are struggling as a farmer is that you have assumption. Thank you, Farmer Ike. Assumption will kill proper preparation. Assumption will give you peace of mind where you're supposed to be in a war front. Assumption will tell you all is well when you're supposed to be asking questions. Assumptions. Because if you are not going to struggle, you need information. Number 3, because again, I have seen this recently in the industry where people laugh with those ahead of them but secretly wish them bad. There is the laughter, the smile, the what's the word? As though everything is all rosy, but behind the scene, you are wishing those ahead of you bad. It has become like a trend. Or there is the whole wishing others bad. Those who are not wishing others bad on their own tell themselves they do not qualify to be there. So they place themselves at a point of victimhood, like it cannot be us, so we cannot make it. So it is not a, who is that? So it is not a thing of, oh, this cannot happen. It is just them saying it cannot be for us. So you realize that their reason for failing or struggling is they have already told themselves they cannot be the one. Remember the conversation I had, was it last week, where I talked about Cain? Those of us that didn't join, when I talked about Cain, I said the story that we were told of Cain in the Bible, Genesis 14, was Cain killed Abel. And I said, God cursed Cain. Customized curse. I said, looking at Cain, Cain had 3 levels of curses. Cain was cursed first because he was a child of Adam. We have all sinned because through Adam everybody have sinned. So Cain had the Adamic sin. Cain had a parental sin because he killed Abel. I am sure that the parents did not bless him for killing Abel. So they would have cursed him. Then God again also cursed him. The only thing, by the time God finished cursing him, Cain told God that these curses are too much. People will see me and kill me because of these curses. God said, well, I'm going to put a mark on you. Nobody will kill you. Right? But if you look at the end of Cain, I think verse 19 or so of Genesis chapter 4, it says that Cain got married, had a son, built a city, and named the city after his son, Enoch. Think about it. The first man to build a city in the Bible was a person cursed by God. A person cursed by God was the first person to build a city. You that it is only ordinary village people, God is not against you. To even build mushroom, na wahala. What information are you working with? What information are you working with? I will give you another example. How many of you know that there is a program that is launching next week in Lagos State? Next week, Wednesday in Lagos State. The information has been flying around. Lagos State is launching a 500 billion naira fund for farmers. A 500 billion naira fund for farmers. And what they want to do is, from that next week, any smallholder farmer that has produced anything, Lagos State will buy it. So they have their cold storage, their building storage facility and all of that. You just need to tell them you have, they buy it off you. Which means a farmer will no longer be saying there is no market, that is why the produce got spoiled. How many farmers have that information? So instead, what you will hear is, the market, the market, the market, the market. But do you know that Lagos State has a platform coming up like that? Do you know, as a matter of fact, Ekiti State government already have something like that running? How many farmers have access to those information? So you stay on the path of assumption and wonder why things are not working. The struggling farmer. Information. The number 3 reason why the farmers, there are people who are struggling, it is because you started growing without results. You grew your business where there was no results. You are growing what is not working. Let me explain that. Genesis 1, is it 26 or 28? Sorry, because I'm carrying a child. Genesis 1 verse, let me try 26. Is it 26 or 28? Oh, just a minute. Lagos State themselves are the off-taker. That's what I am telling you. Let me check. 28. I'm going to number 3. So Genesis 1, they say God blessed them and instructed them first. So God blesses humanity. I'm not sure which version this is. God blessed humanity. So everybody is blessed. Everybody is blessed. Humanity is blessed. And he told humanity, first, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it, exercise dominion. But it started with be fruitful. You are multiplying your business where you have not borne fruit. That is why you are struggling. You have not perfected how to grow tomatoes on inside buckets. You are collecting land to lease. And you are hoping it will. You have not gotten it right on a small scale. You are expanding. Are you expanding? What are you expanding? You have not gotten it right with 1. You want to build 3. You have not mastered how to sow seed and reap, but you want to sow 50 seeds and reap. You are not fruitful yet. You have not understood it yet. You have not figured out how to get results. You have not figured out how to get results. You don't know how to get results yet. And if you have not figured out how to get results, why are you growing what you are still experimenting? You have not gotten results, you are asking for investment. This is why you are struggling. You have not gotten results, you are holding seminars. What are you teaching? You have not gotten results, you are calling yourself consultant. You have not gotten results, they now called you to say, come help me set up farm. You are charging the person a service fee. And you are wondering why they are not dragging you and harassing you with police when the farm failed. You have not learned how to get results. You have not learned how to make things work yet in your own hands. You have not understood how to get results. Results. So you are struggling because instead of you to be experimenting to understand it, you are trying to do it on a large scale. You are trying to expand what you are learning. Just try to imagine like my baby boy now, who is just a year plus, and I carry him and say, let me go and register you for a university course. He has not even learned ABCD well. I am not throwing him into university. What do you think will happen? His struggle is because he has not developed capacity for where he wants to operate. He has not developed capacity. He has not understood the nitty-gritty. Some people are trying to be big when they have not they don't have base yet. You don't have a base, you don't have a stance. You are trying to be big with what? You are trying to build without. You are trying, see, let me tell you this for free. One of the biggest errors that can happen to you is to have media coverage and be popular without substance. That is a dangerous place to be. Hey, Oga just say, good evening, sir. That is a dangerous place to be. Yes, so my baby farmer. The other ones don't go sleep. That is a dangerous place to be. Thank you, Mr. Walton. There is also the thing of, because others are doing it, you too, you want to try it. Like, Thank God Oga Jesse is online. Mr. Jesse is one of my Ogas I always consult for our poetry and fishery. Before we tried poetry, I know how long Oga Jesse has been doing poetry. Before I tried poetry myself, first and foremost, we put in money in his poetry to learn under him. When we wanted to start, we did not invest with how much we had, we invested with how much we can lose. I will say that again. When we wanted to start our own poetry, we did not start our poetry with how much we can afford. We started the poetry with how much we were willing to lose, how much we were willing to pay our school fees. I remember, I don't know if Oga Jesse will remember, our beds in Abuja, I don't think they were up to 500 beds. I can't even remember. I know they were not much. We tested, then we came to Ogun State. Daddy, good evening, sir. Reverend, good evening, sir. We then came to Ogun State, started with 1,000 beds. We have been on 1,000 beds since January. To the best of, no, they gave us 1,001. To the best of my knowledge, this is June, we only lost 1 bed. Am I now saying because we lost only 1 bed, tomorrow let's go and expand to 10,000 beds? No. So the reason why you are struggling in your business as a farmer is you did not understand the basics, but you expanded what you did not know. And the problem with amplifying what you don't know is your ignorance will not show forth properly. Your ignorance will show forth properly. It says, be fruitful. Why did he say? Notice, it did not say be plant. It did not say, let me go back to that verse, Genesis 1:28. Bible did not say God blessed humanity and instructed them to plant, be fruitful. No, that's not what he said. He said God blessed them and instruct them to be fruitful. So it is not that God does not know that your process has to start with planting. You may need to prune. You may need to weed. You may need to do a lot of these things. But you have not started until you start bearing fruits. Until you start bearing fruits, you have not started. Until you bear fruits, you have not started. So that you have planted but you did not get fruits, you have not started. You are still in your experimental phase. You are still doing tombe, tamba. Somebody reached out to me a while back on LinkedIn and was saying, oh, he wants to start poultry business, this, blah, blah, blah. He has family and friends that will help him with money. And I asked the guy, have you done poultry before? He said, no. He will learn on the job. I said, no, you do not misuse opportunities. You do not misuse generosity. You do not misuse people's benevolence. I said, tell them you will come back, that you want to go and learn. He said, okay. He took my advice. He went to a poultry and started learning, working for free and learning. He would tell me once in a while, the owner will dash him money. I said, fine, but you are learning for free, Abi? He said, yes. I think last week or last 2 weeks, he then reached out again and said, he feels he has learned enough because even now, the Oga has made him a staff. They give him duties and all of that. He feels he is ready to go and start his business. Then I asked him, I said, okay, in this poultry business that you have been doing, who is selling? He called a different department. Okay. Who determines what they administer as drugs? A different department. Who does this? I said, which means right now you are operating from a place where you are told what to do. He said, yes. I said, do you know that when you start your business, you need to be able to tell yourself what to do? He kept quiet. He said, because we were chatting, he did, I said, so you are getting results, but not by your brain. I said, right, good evening, food safety, good evening, man. I said, you are getting results, but the results are not a function of your brain. I said, which means if you take this and go and start, what you're going to have will be failure. I said, the farm is succeeding in your hand, not because of what you know, but because of your ability to follow who knows the way. You want to sleep? It's time to sleep. What? You still want rice? Sorry, oh. Sorry. Don't want rest, so it's time to sleep. I said, so you are succeeding not because of what you know. Mommy Akpabio, good evening, man. That's my mommy on Facebook. Good evening, man. Not because of what you know, but because you are following the person that knows. So the number 3 reason why farms are struggling is because they are not fruitful yet before they expand. They are not what? Fruitful before they expand. So the question is, look at that business that you are doing. What do you really know that you are fruitful at? I have given this example severally online. When I left my former company, I was in 2019 and I was restarting. I was trying to restart from scratch, nothing to my name, nothing I had. Restarting from inside my compound alone, I planted seeds. I mean, at that point, I had been on CNN, I had been on BBC, I had been on big platforms. So this was like, you're a big boy farmer. Unfortunately, in the former company, I had people that were doing seedling, doing this, doing that. When I was going to start alone, I now had to be the person to first do my seed myself. I won't forget, I planted seed not grew. I plant, the percentage that was growing was not a lot. I had to sit down and tell myself and say, see, Samson, you know you didn't study Greek. See, at some point, you need to tell yourself some bitter truth. Do I know somebody that, Uncle Ayodele Farinde, good evening, Samuelga. Do I know somebody that did Greek that can do seedlings for me? There was no shame. I went to BIC, Pastor Debo, I beg you, I go to buy seedlings from you. I was buying seedlings from them and doing multi-million projects across, because I figured out what I was not good at. I figured what I was not competent at. So I was not going to build on where I was not competent. Instead, I was going to outsource. 2, I was not only outsourcing where I was not competent, I allowed the client to know I am not the one doing this part. Because there I have seen a lot of farmers struggle. You got a contract to build a farm. Baba, you know, say you don't know how to build farm. Tell the person the truth. Say, as I collect this contract, Jide go do this part, John go do this part, Yakubu go do this part, Jegbefu go do this part. Don't just delegate and outsource, be transparent. Why? So that if something happens in that part, the customer will know that it was not your failure, though the failure happened under your watch. The customer will know. So I am getting seedlings from Mr. A. I am getting fertilizer from Mr. B. Sir, this is my service fee. This is the money from seed for seedling. If you like, you can pay it directly to the company I will collect seedling from. I want you to do the seedling. No, sir, that is not my focus. My own is to help you set up the farm. This is where I am buying the hydroponic system. I will use the materials I will use to set up, in case you want to buy it yourself. So when you are telling me, okay, you are buying pumping machine, yes, what is the guarantee on the pumping machine? I bought the pumping machine from Jide and John Limited. They said the guarantee, so you are part of the conversation. That way, should anything go wrong, The owner may call me, but they really know who to blame because I was transparent ahead of time. How many things are you hiding under your leadership that you do not have competence in? And right now, that is why the owners of those things that you helped to work with are dragging you left and right like generator, because you were not honest. Where you told the customer, no, don't worry, what do you need? You need tomatoes, pepper, onions? Don't worry, bam, I will get it to you. I have it in my farm. Meanwhile, you know in your heart of heart, you don't have only farm. But you lied about having a farm. What if you had just told the person, I don't have these tomatoes. I am going to source from here, this from here, this from here. But I will ensure it is the quality you want. Your fear is they will go behind you to the farm. No. See, let me explain one thing I am learning at the top. One thing I am learning at the top. There is an inverse proportionality between time and money. There is an inverse relationship between time and money. Those people who have time don't spend money. Those who want to spend money don't have time. How do I mean? Why does a rich man have a security guard? Why does a rich man have somebody that helps him open gates? Why does the rich man have a driver? Why does the rich man have a nanny? Why does the rich man have a house help? Why does the rich man have a PA? Why does the rich man have a secretary? They want to save time. The rich man wants to save time. Simple. So that rich man that wants to save time does not have time to be arguing things that are not important. He is not willing to now sell your tomato seller, come, let's negotiate. Pepper, let's negotiate. Onion, let's negotiate. They are looking for the person that will take away that responsibility from them. So they know you are sourcing, but they are not willing to do that job. They are not willing. But if you see the person that has time to do the job, see, I'm telling you some of my secrets in business. If there is a customer that has time to say, I will check your tomatoes, check your tomatoes, check your pepper, check your onions, check this farm, check this farm, check this farm, you cannot pay well. You have time, you don't have money to pay me well. If you do not have time, you have money to pay me well. Yes, do like that. Time, no money. If they get time, they not get money. If they get money, they not get time. So, fruitfulness. The reason your farm is struggling is you were not fruitful before you expanded. You were not fruitful before you expanded. Because check, the next thing the Bible says is when you are fruitful, meaning when you have result. Fruitfulness is not just about getting result one time. No. It's your ability to get the result again and again and again. See, if you are a young person here that is struggling trying to get your farm started, let me tell you this for free, what I know. There are people watching you. Have you noticed that the day that you mistakenly get results, people will start coming out to meet you and say, bro, can I invest in what you are doing? You need to be honest to yourself and ask yourself, this result when I get, shey result have been a mago, can I replicate it? If it sounds like, don't collect their money until you are sure that you can replicate it. Because let me tell you this for free, they did not give you that money from a place of love, they gave you that money from a place of business. If it was out of love, they will say, take this money as grant, we are dashing you. Yay! They'll say, we are what? Dashing you. So, the next reason why people struggle, why farmers are struggling, is they are not multiplying. They are not multiplying. They are not. Now, there are two levels of multiplying as a farmer. The first multiplication is, Madam Lebil, good evening, ma. The first level of multiplication, as a farmer, you must multiply yourself. You do not have the capacity to do everything on your own and give orders and instruction for the future you are building, except that future is small. Except that future is small. You must multiply yourself. Yes, T is equals to 1 over M. T is time 1 over money. Thank you, Mr. Faride. You must multiply yourself. At times, people visit the farmer, they're like, Farmer Sam, how are you able to manage all of these things? 100 acres greenhouses. How are you able to do it? How are you able to check? I just start smiling. In my mind, I'm like, no, it is not me. I have multiplied myself. You invite me for a program, you notice many a time I send some of my team, some of my colleagues to come. When they come, you will notice that some of them even speak better than I do. They are more knowledgeable now than I do. If you are inviting me for an agronomy talk, Baba, I am not going to come. I have people who are way more grounded in agronomy now than I do. Multiply yourself. You cannot grow with you alone. Jesus, a savior of the world, when he was to start his ministry, looked for 12 people. Think about it. Savior of the world, a whole Jesus, that could have just said, Lord, as I say it, let their mind accept it. He still looked for 12 people. When he wanted to feed 5,000 men with 2 loaves and 2 fishes and 5 bread, what did he still do? He still used his 12 disciples to put in order. There was an orderliness. So Jesus had multiplied himself. Jesus multiplied himself in people. CEO, you are trying to build for the future, but you are still doing, no, it is my secret. Let them know here. Let them know here. Oh, take nipa NDA. Then you can give them non-disclosure agreement as part of their agreement when they are starting up as a staff in your company. Now, it is only you that know. So the day you are not available, the company cannot run. The day that you are not there to give answer, nobody can do anything. When you are on your sick bed, your business is sick. When you are in the toilet shitting, your business too is shitting. Just because you have refused to multiply yourself. We tell you, train your people as a farmer. Take time and train your staff. Train your staff. You are like, no, if I train them, what if they leave? Okay, now that you did not train them, what if they stay back? Would you rather have an untrained people working with you or trained persons that left? Or trained persons that left? Because this is why your business is struggling. This is why your business is having issues. You are not training your men. You are not training your team. Your team is not trained. You have people around you who you have not trained. You go for conferences and come and not share what you heard. So in your mind, you have gone ahead, but the people that you are working with are still where they were. So you are wondering why the result you are seeing does not match the knowledge in your head, because you did not multiply your knowledge in your people. They don't know what you know. They are not thinking how you are thinking. They have not heard what you heard. They can't see how you see things. Are we still together? You are still running a company where everybody calls you when there is a problem. You have nobody in your team that are problem solvers. You have nobody in your team that comes to tell you, hey, I think we can try it this way. So you have 10 people in your team, 20 people in your team, but you are the one thinking for everybody.